So I've been on a quest to find the ultimate daily driver backpack. The most laser-focused, purpose-built, everyday carry experience. There was one brand that first echoed in the chambers of my mind. Hey everyone, welcome back to Gear Grind Reviews. My name's Nathan and I do in-depth, honest reviews on high-end backpacks and other EDC gear. So I've always known of Nomatic, going back to when they first launched. I think it was in like 2015 or somewhere around there. I was so entrenched in camera bags, or at least modular backpacks that could be kitted out for camera use. People seem like they were big fans of Nomatic. I just simply never dove in.
I've been around
for ages and ages. You've been around for a long, long time. I never wanted anything from you. But now the forbidden fruit must be tasted.
So this is a backpack from Nomatic. What do they call it? The Nomatic Backpack. Wow. Oh, and quick note, for the first time ever on this channel, this bag was sent to me by the company. Hopefully you won't see this as a bad thing. Maybe you'll even be happy for me, because buying every product that I've reviewed so far has nearly killed me. But this really is an unbiased review. My goal for this channel, as always, is for each video to feel like if a friend came up to me and said, hey, what do you think about product X, whatever it is, and wanted maybe way too long of an answer, I think that's what Gear Grind is. So if that sounds good to you and you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you'd like to support this very small channel further, there are some links down below in the description. That's short for description. Give them a little click, costs you nothing extra, and I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. So the Nomatic Backpack is a modern, minimalist, hyper-functional carry solution. Like if you had ever wished that you had a backpack with a designated pocket for anything you could possibly ever need throughout your day. This bag was quite clearly designed for frequent travelers or even just everyday commuters, the bag that you take to the office or coffee shop or whatever your average day brings. This is really designed for you. So in this review, we'll go through my thoughts on design, build quality, organization, comfort, and more. And I'll also give my thoughts on who I think this bag is for, because I wouldn't say it's casting nearly as wide of a net as some of its closest competitors, but more on that in a bit. So the Nomatic Backpack's exterior design philosophy is certainly minimalist. You're not going to see compression straps all over the place or any patchwork fabrics and materials. The profile of the bag is very uniform, I'd say. So the 20-liter version that I have here measures 19 inches high, 13 inches wide, and has a depth of about 6 inches, closer to 8 inches when expanded, and it's able to expand up to 24 liters. The bag weighs 4.16 pounds or 1.9 kilograms. So the exterior is made from a rather robust water-resistant tarpaulin blend, and the zipper tape is color matched to whichever colorway you choose. In addition to this olive colorway that I chose, it's also available in navy and black. The shape is structured and somewhat boxy. It keeps its shape very nicely when underpacked or completely empty. As you'll see once we get to the organizational and interior part of this review, there are a ton, and I mean a ton, of compartments. So it being able to support its own weight and structure, that rigidity really helps you pack this bag, use this bag in the way that it was intended to be. Get out of here. How is a moth in here? I will find you and I will destroy you. So for the overall styling of this bag, I feel like Nomatic's goal with this and their brand as a whole is to sort of strike this balance of casual, creative, meets business professional. Like it's somewhere in between, but probably leaning a bit more in the professional direction. I mean, that's what I get when I look at the bag. All around, I would say Nomatic really leaned into durability here. I first want to take a moment to talk about their use of tarpaulin. So back when I reviewed the Wandered Transit, the tarpaulin on that bag, though it looked great, it was not a practical choice. It was too flimsy, it was too prone to scuffs, and I didn't love it. But Nomatic's execution is not that at all. It's much thicker, it's much more durable, and certainly more scratch resistant. So this is a much better take on the use of tarpaulin as a shell material. So you've got YKK zippers throughout. We always love to see that. I mean, when you're in this price range, I feel like it's nearly a prerequisite to have high-end hardware like YKK zippers. If anything, it's become more easy to unzip and zip the zippers after having this for 3 or 4 months, I think, that I've had it. And none of the zippers have presented any issue on the exterior or on the interior. They've been great. And they do have weatherproof zipper tape along all of the exterior zippers, so getting caught in the rain, kind of a non-issue. Hasn't been for me. It's just not something I worry about with this bag. And overall stitching and reinforcements on pretty much any part of the bag is quite substantial here and very confidence inspiring. So at just under 4 pounds empty, this backpack is heavier than some in its class. I've had multiple travel backpacks like Peak Designs and the Transit that I talked about earlier. I'm pretty sure those hover right at around 4 pounds and they can store 45 liters. But that weight comes from premium materials and from all of the compartments and features throughout. So the weight of this bag feels like a conscious trade-off, definitely for durability, but as you'll see in this next section, certainly for functionality as well. Okay, so there's a lot to cover here because this is where the Nomatic Backpack really shines and sets itself apart in, I think, a lot of ways. So on the front of this bag, you have a dedicated admin panel. Starting from the backside of that front panel, you have an RFID safe pocket right here. So if you don't know, passports have sensitive electronics in them, which I can only imagine holds some kind of identifiable information on you. Credit cards, debit cards, pretty much all of them have NFC chips on them. Not a bad idea to have some kind of layer of protection there. And under that, you've got a zippered compartment, as well as 2 open elastic pockets, 2 pen holders even. If you're traveling with pens, you're covered. And then there's a divider of sorts, which in essence really gives you 2 more compartments on either side of that. And on the reverse side, you see a series of 4 uniformly sized elastic pockets. In the main compartment, you've got 1 larger, longer elastic pocket, complemented by 2 similar sized elastic pockets that you saw on the front panel. And then behind that, 2 more compartments that seem kind of tablet sized. One of them, some kind of nylon material, but the one behind that does have felt lining all across. That's probably the one that's really meant for a tablet. Velcro strap there that can secure to the front of that area. And then the laptop compartment on this one, very nice to see that it's entirely lined with felt on both sides, all the way down. And on the sides of this main compartment here, you have and this is a first for me anyway, a dedicated sunglasses compartment. And they actually give you a tiny little hard shell to put your sunglasses in. When I first saw that, I'm like, yeah, I'm never gonna use that. But I was going on a trip to Florida and I'm like, well, so I'll go with it. I'll use this bag as intended. And I will say, it was definitely pretty nice to actually get there and know exactly where the sunglasses were, first of all, and to know that they hadn't been scratched by, you know, throwing them in like the front compartment or something with other stuff like keys and they were gonna get scratched. So a nice touch, but again, if you'd rather free that up for other stuff, sunglasses aren't a big deal to you, remove it. That's an option. And down below in this corner, you have your key leash, and this is the first for any bag that I've reviewed. It's a retractable key leash.
Let's not blow this out of proportion.
And then on the back side of that main compartment storage panel, you have yet another elastic pocket and yet another one above that. They're about the same size. And then above that, and this is actually one of my favorite features of the bag, cord pass-through between compartments. Yes, thank you. You can effectively make this easy access pocket, for instance, your dedicated charging station. And the power bank can always sit tucked away inside, out of sight, out of mind, not taking up space in the same pocket. I freaking love that, especially because I use a rather large battery bank. It's intended to be able to even charge a laptop, so it needs high output, it needs a larger capacity. There's no way that's fitting in this, but I'd much rather have that sit in one of these compartments, run the attached cable, USB-C cable through here, and this can charge by itself in this pocket without getting scratched up by other electronics that are also sitting in there. So I find that hugely useful for travel. Last thing I would say about the quick access pocket right here, I do wish it was a little bit bigger. Anything that can't be in my pockets when going through security, this is the most eligible place for all of that stuff, simply by virtue of it being the most easy to get to. So that would have been nice, but I will say I am glad that they thought through materials on the inside, on the interior of this pocket. Any fragile electronics like a phone or anything, I'm not worried about putting it in there. So one thing that is kind of a head scratcher for me, as far as the interior of the bag, the bottom part of the main storage area has this thick, sort of rigid piece of plastic. The fact that it just sits there seems kind of incongruent with the refinement of the rest of the bag. Deal breaker? No, but I wanted to mention it. So Nomatic's treatment for the water bottle pocket, when you open it, you do see the elastic, you see the mechanism in action, but it does secure by a magnet. So very elegant, and it feels nice to use, and when you're not using it, You don't have to do anything. It falls back into place. Okay, so let's talk comfort and ergonomics. Got to talk about the shoulder straps anytime that you're addressing the comfort factor first. Pretty standard fare here, I would say. It's not going to be like overly plush, which is kind of like the theme that I'm seeing with most bags across different manufacturers, but it's a 20-liter bag. I really don't think you need a ton for, you know, your everyday commute, but I'm sure one reason the Nomatic made these straps this particular thickness is because of stowability. That's actually pretty hard to unsnap. So the back panel, it does stay captive. It's stitched right here in the middle, and you can stow each shoulder pad independently, snap it back. There we go. They don't want you doing that on accident. And then once you've done that, that's pretty clean. That looks pretty good. And you can tell this was a very intentional choice design-wise, because even in their own marketing materials, it shows some guy on top of the world, cool business guy. He's carrying it in briefcase mode, and there's no straps like flinging around. So I get that that's a benefit, and you could also do that in the airport if you're primarily storing this on the luggage handle. It just kind of keeps it tight and easy to manage, and I like that addition a lot. As far as the back panel goes, there's kind of like this nylon spine in the middle with protruding segmented foam padding on each side. I honestly think it's a reasonable amount for the size of this bag. In my experience, it's been more than enough. It's been very comfortable. And I also like just the aesthetic appeal of it, like that segmented look there, adds some visual interest. And then while we're back here on this left side of the back panel, after you unsnap it, you can see this hidden zippered compartment here, clearly meant to sort of conceal more sensitive stuff like a passport or wallet. There's a sternum strap system built in. It is clearly a rail system. There's no stepping component here. You can put it anywhere along that rail. It's one of the easier systems I've seen to adjust on the fly. There's no taking it off and readjusting at the point that you want it. You just slide it up to where you want. The hardware does seem high quality, and it's branded, which I always like to see. Gives you the impression that it's not just something they ordered off the shelf, slapped it on the bag and called it good. It's just an intentional design choice and a step they didn't have to take, but I appreciate it. There's a really nice top handle here that I like a lot. It's got a surprising amount of padding here. It feels really good to interact with. It's just feels good to dig your fingers into. And then you do have handles on both sides. You know, fair amount of padding for when you are using it in briefcase mode. You will not see one on the bottom, which I'm not too surprised by. With this size of a bag, I think that's forgivable here. I do always wish any bag that can be used for travel, I don't know, I always find myself reaching for like the phantom back panel handle, even if it's not there. It's just kind of like the obvious point of contact that you'd want to reach for when you are taking it off the conveyor belt. Certainly not a deal breaker, but it would have been kind of nice. Okay, so as we land this plane, I think we need to talk about who this bag is for. What use case is this most optimized for? It's great for anything I could possibly imagine you needing on the plane, but it's also just as good, and this is, though I've used it for both, this is mostly what I've used it for, day-to-day commute to work. It's been really nice compared to bags I've used before that there's purpose-built compartments for everything. As an editor, I always have 1 to 2 solid-state drives, plenty of space for cables and any other accessories that I might need. Obviously a place for the laptop. Now I also need to talk about who it's maybe not as good for. Very often when I'm traveling, I need to have a camera with me. This isn't, I wouldn't say, intended with that use case in mind. It's just not natively intended for that. However, I did consider one thing. If you expand this bag to its full capacity, it buys you just enough room, and Nomatic was kind enough to also send me one of their camera cubes, and when you put that in there, it's almost like it was made to be in this bag, and I did not expect that to be the case. It's just shallow enough to clear the sunglasses case. As far as the Nomatic option, there's no lid to it, so I wouldn't feel super awesome about this being turned upside down or handled in some unintentional way. However, you do have options from other companies. This is the Peak Design small camera cube. You have a zipper that will close. So just keep that in mind if you're the type of traveler who will have a camera no matter what. It can be done. Just know that you're gonna have to supplement it with at least some sort of accessory, whether it's from Nomatic or a competing company. Okay, so let's talk pricing and value for this one. As with most of my videos, this is not a budget-oriented brand. This is not a budget-oriented product. And this one for the 20 liter is $330 US. Obviously, it's a premium product, and hopefully that's clear from my review. There's a lot of polished touches, a lot of high-end features. But I will say, at least amongst its peers, it's kind of not all that surprising. But still actually more expensive than most backpacks I can think of in the 20-liter range. Competition within this price range and this realm of functionality, my mind always instantly goes to Peak Design. The modern version of the everyday backpack, like at first glance, very similar, but they are entirely different. Peak Design is very much modularity first. It's just an empty interior, meant to be modular, comes with camera dividers because that's kind of what it's mostly intended for. They call it an everyday bag, but I'm not sure if it's as geared towards actual everyday use as something like the Nomatic. I love the quick access flap at the top. So that's really nice to get to and quicker, obviously, than zipping open the entire front panel. But as far as functionality goes, once you're inside of the bag, I gotta give it to this one still. It's just better for that use case. So again, you just have to weigh what's important to you. And there's also some similar sized backpacks from Pact and Evergoods that I think are somewhat comparable and I would really like to dive more into. I haven't had hands-on with them yet, but I mean, there are obviously a huge amount of bags that could be compared to this one. I'm just trying to think through what bags I've had hands-on experience with. Let me know if you think there are options that should be directly compared to this one. And by the way, if you would like to see a full review on the everyday backpack, I have both the 20 and the 30 liter. I took them to the Pacific Northwest, put them through their paces. So let me know if you'd like to see that. Honestly, even if you don't, I'll probably do it anyway. So like and subscribe if by chance you'd like to see that or anything else that I have coming up soon. I do think that if you choose to go with this backpack, you'll have it for a very long time, especially considering this is a brand that offers a lifetime warranty. Just make sure to register it within, like, I think the first month or so of getting it. They're kind of sticklers on that. They've got some stipulations there, but if you play by the rules and you were the original purchaser of this backpack, you could have this or a replacement of it for a very long time because of that warranty, in addition to just how tough it is. Like, it really, I've put it through quite a bit and it essentially looks like it did day one. Maybe some minor scuffs, but absolutely no real signs of wear that cause me any concern. So I feel pretty good about it. So if you can stomach the price, you like how it looks, you like the features that it has, I think this is up there on the ones that you should consider. All right, guys, I think that'll about do it for this one. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you have, please like and subscribe. Certainly helps this very small channel. I really do truly value the support that I see in the comments of my videos. Just a lot of encouragement. As a new creator that only has a handful of videos. And if you'd like to support the channel further, please check out the links below for any of the products that might be of interest to you. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I will see you on the next one.